The chilling tale of Barbara Marie Opel. Barbara Marie Opel's story is not just about murder, it's about betrayal, manipulation, and greed. What sets her apart from other killers is the fact that she used children, some as young as 13 years old, to carry out her brutal crime. Her actions shocked the small town of Everett, Washington, and left an indelible mark on true crime history. Barbara Opel was a struggling single mother when she met Jerry Hyman, a 64-year-old retired aerospace worker. Jerry had a heart of gold and a soft spot for helping those in need. He allowed Barbara and her children to live in his home, providing them with shelter and support. Despite his generosity, Barbara viewed him not as a kind benefactor but as a target for her sinister ambitions. Jerry had recently come into some money after selling property, and Barbara saw an opportunity to exploit his wealth. Instead of gratitude, she began to concoct a plan to kill Jerry and steal his assets. What's even more shocking is how she carried out her scheme, by convincing her teenage daughter and a group of local kids to do the dirty work for her. The recruitment. Barbara's manipulation was masterful and chilling. She promised the teenagers money, cars, and other rewards if they helped her kill Jerry. The group of teens she recruited included her own 13-year-old daughter, Heather, as well as other local kids, including Kyle Boston, 14, and Jeffrey Grote, 17. Most of these teenagers came from troubled backgrounds, and Barbara preyed on their vulnerabilities to gain their trust and loyalty. Barbara painted Jerry as a monster, claiming he was abusive and that his death was necessary. Her lies and manipulation worked, and the group began to see Jerry as an obstacle that needed to be removed. The way she twisted the minds of these impressionable teenagers showed a complete lack of morality and a terrifying level of cunning. The murder. On April 13, 2001, Barbara's plan came to fruition. She sent the teenagers into Jerry's home armed with baseball bats and knives. Jerry, who trusted Barbara and likely never suspected her betrayal, was ambushed in his own house. The group attacked him mercilessly, beating him with bats until he was dead. The scene was brutal and horrifying, a reflection of the rage Barbara had instilled in these young people. What makes the crime even more appalling is that Barbara wasn't even present during the attack. She orchestrated everything from the sidelines, leaving the teenagers to carry out the gruesome act while she stayed behind with her younger children. After the murder, she ordered the teens to clean up the crime scene, showing a chilling lack of remorse. Barbara's greed didn't stop at murder. After Jerry was killed, she stole his money, drained his bank account, and even sold his belongings for cash. All the while, she acted as though nothing had happened, trying to keep up appearances to avoid suspicion. The aftermath. Barbara's plan unraveled quickly. The teenagers, unable to keep such a horrific secret, began to talk. Investigators soon caught wind of their involvement, and the group was arrested. During questioning, it became clear that Barbara was the mastermind behind the murder. In court, the details of Barbara's manipulation and the brutal nature of the crime came to light. Witnesses testified about how she had groomed the teenagers and promised them rewards for their involvement. Her own daughter, Heather, who had participated in the murder, testified against her mother. The trial was a media spectacle, with the public horrified by the details of the crime and Barbara's willingness to use children to achieve her goals. The evidence against her was overwhelming, and in 2003, she was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The teenagers. The teenagers who carried out the murder also faced justice, though their sentences reflected their age and level of involvement. Jeffrey Grote, the oldest and most active participant, was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Kyle Boston, who had a lesser role, received a reduced sentence after cooperating with authorities. Barbara's daughter, Heather, was tried as a juvenile and received a relatively short sentence of 18 months in a juvenile detention facility. The tragedy of this case is twofold. Not only did Jerry Hyman lose his life in a brutal and senseless manner, but the lives of these teenagers were also destroyed by Barbara's manipulation. The legacy. Barbara Marie Opel's crime stands out as one of the most chilling cases in modern American history. Her willingness to manipulate children into committing murder shows a level of depravity that is hard to comprehend. The case also highlights the dangers of unchecked manipulation and the vulnerability of troubled youth. Jerry Hyman's death was a tragedy that shocked the small community of Everett and left lasting scars on everyone involved. His kindness and generosity were repaid with betrayal and violence, a sobering reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary facade. Barbara remains in prison, serving her life sentence. She has shown no remorse for her actions, and her name continues to be synonymous with greed and manipulation. The teenagers she recruited are left to grapple with the consequences of their actions, their lives forever changed by one woman's twisted plan. Closing thoughts. The story of Barbara Marie Opel is one of betrayal, manipulation, and greed. It is a chilling reminder of how far some people will go for money and power and how easily the vulnerable can be exploited. Jerry Hyman's generosity was met with unspeakable violence, and his tragic death serves as a cautionary tale about the darker sides of human nature. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, it really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Tap the bell to stay notified whenever we post a new video. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.